Hello folks, it's been 4 months since I posted my last video and not much has changed. Before I begin, I'd like to give a heartfelt thanks to everyone who supported my children and I. Thank you. I've gotten tremendous feedback and it clearly resonated with thousands upon thousands of people who watched it on YouTube and on Facebook and tons of other court victims that reached out to me. I encourage everybody to be public and share their stories fearlessly. We are under surreptitious government tyranny and ruthless social engineering, executed in large part through the courts. The only way out is through relentless exposure and peaceful publicity, fully protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Please keep sharing all my videos, like, and subscribe. My federal lawsuit against Judge Rachel Amy Adams is still pending. Since my last video, Judge Adams removed my children from the order of protection, but she continues, to this day, to keep me on supervised visits. I was only able to see my children for 5 hours in the last 6 months. Despite her own ruling and finding that the children need no protection from me, which was a ridiculous, concocted, typical, false allegation in the first place, Judge Adams continues to block the children and me from having any video calls or phone contact, which millions of even other falsely accused fathers get. What sense does that make? It's been 3 years. 3 years since the frivolous order of protection was filed, and I haven't had any normal access to my children, despite Judge Adams' own ruling and finding that I pose no danger to my children. Imagine what it does to them, what immense psychological harm and damage it causes. Their daddy just disappeared for years. They don't know where I am or whether they'll see me again. This is ruthless. This is despicable, and this is clear retaliation and tyranny. Bottom line, Judge Adams, who is clearly full of hatred and anger because I dared to expose her condemnable conduct publicly, continues to subject me to supervised visits without a basis in law and against common sense. I've nothing personal against her, but she clearly is not fit to be a judge. The whole system that continues to cover for her, despite my numerous complaints, should be reformed and frankly dismantled. Now, to the main point of this video. Recently, I've uncovered shocking evidence of a clear conflict of interest, including pecuniary interest, that might explain why Judge Rachel Amy Adams has targeted me and my children, as well as so many other children and parents with supervised visitations, and why she showed invariable favoritism towards the lawyers representing the opposing party in my case. Judge Rachel Amy Adams is married to Greg Brooks, and based on annual financial disclosure reports filed by her with the New York State Unified Court System Ethics Commission, which I, by the way, lawfully requested and received, Adams' husband, Greg Brooks, according to Adams' reports that were filed between 2015 and 2022, as well as publicly available data, shows that Greg Brooks served as Chief Financial and Administrative Officer, a CFO, a C-level top executive at an organization named Safe Horizon. According to Adams' reports, her husband earned a 6-figure salary between $100,000 and $250,000 a year. What is Safe Horizon? Well, Safe Horizon, like CFS, also known as Comprehensive Family Services, which I'd mentioned in my last video, is one of the leading agencies in New York City that provides court-ordered supervised visits for parents. Let's pause here for a second. A matrimonial court judge's husband is a top financial officer for an organization that gets funneled a lot of work from her colleagues. Other New York City judges ordering supervised visitations left and right. It's an industry, and supervised visitations are a norm, and a big business for the agencies who receive these sweet, mandatory government referrals. Remember the Kids for Cash scandal in Pennsylvania? If you don't, go ahead, look it up. But wait, it even gets better. Greg Brooks has not only been signing pivotal annual tax documents on behalf of Safe Horizon, a top finance executive job is to approve a variety of expenses for the so-called nonprofit. Well, it certainly looks like his salary wasn't nonprofit size. Anyhow, lo and behold, according to documents obtained pursuant to the Freedom of Information Law in 2021, the year Judge Adams continued to keep me on supervised visits with my children while entertaining the accusation that I am the one who doesn't want to see them because I couldn't pay CFS's rate of $100 per hour. Say for Verizon, they gave a grant of $260,632 to another government-affiliated entity, Shalom Task Force Incorporated, with Greg Brooks as a top finance honcho. What is Shalom Task Force? Well, Shalom Task Force is an organization that specializes, among other activities, in providing legal services and representation to Jewish women litigating against Orthodox men, like myself, in similar divorce and custody court proceedings, essentially for free, using government and other grants. Here's the revelation, folks. Are you ready? The opposing counsel that represents my ex-wife in the divorce proceeding is Debbie Jonas from Sarah's Voice, which is the legal arm of the Shalom Task Force. She replaced Alice Schumann, also from Sarah's Voice. Can you believe this? Judge Adams kills two birds with one stone. I had to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars for private attorneys on top of the attorney for children and supervision bill. But my ex got a free attorney who was essentially co-funded by Adams' husband, the organization which he led as a CFO. By approving the representation by Shalom Task Force / Sarah's Voice, Adam kills two, maybe more birds with one stone. Not only Adams promotes Sarah's Voice, his job security and justification of additional grants, Adams also helps her husband's job security and importance. His organization gives grants to other nonprofits, and it's his job to approve and supervise them. But also, this keeps the whole supervision industry afloat, feeding different players, including CFS and the nonprofit paying her your husband's paycheck. Judge Rachel Amy Adams allowed Shalom Task Force to viciously attack me with false allegations for years. Let me hemorrhage money while the opposing party was getting free lawyers. Targeted me with supervised visits against all common sense. And now we all know why. If this is not a blatant, brazen conflict of interest, I don't know what is. According to New York State Public Officers Law, Section 74, titled Code of Ethics, no officer or employee of a state agency should have any interest, financial or otherwise, direct or indirect, or engage in any business or transaction or professional activity, or incur any obligation of any nature which is in substantial conflict with the proper discharge of his or her duties in the public interest. Moreover, countless opinions of the Advisory Committee on Judicial Ethics for the New York State Unified Court System stated the following. A judge must always avoid even the appearance of impropriety, see 22 NYCRR section 100.2, and must always act in a manner that promotes public confidence in the judiciary's integrity and impartiality. See also 22 NYCRR section 100.2 subdivision A. Therefore, judges must disqualify themselves in any proceeding in which their impartiality might reasonably be questioned. Is Judge Adams concerned with appearance of impropriety? Does she even care about promoting public confidence in the judiciary's integrity and impartiality? Did she disqualify herself? Did she bother to at least disclose this shocking conflict of interest without me having to do a job that a journalist or a government watchdog should have done? The answer is no. To rephrase, if you had a judge whose husband was a CFO of a bank for giving a large loan to a law firm appearing in front of her, would it be normal? Imagine the conversations around the dinner table in such a household. Hey, honey, can you approve more than $250,000 to that female attorney's firm? I really like her. To sum it up, to me, it's clear that according to all law and ethics norms, Judge Adams and the Shalom Task Force were required to disclose this information in open court and disqualify themselves from my case and all other cases when they work in such tandem, connected through Rachel Amy Adams' husband, Greg Jan Brooks. I demanded Judge Adams' recusal time after time based on her conduct in court, her being a defendant in my federal lawsuit against her and several complaints I filed against her. At no point since the beginning of the case has Adams disclosed a conflict of interest, including any monetary interest. Her husband's salary, which goes into her family budget, which existed in the tangled web between her husband, Greg Brooks, his agency, Safe Horizon, the court-sponsored supervision industry benefiting his organization and CFS alike, and my ex-wife's attorneys at Shalom Task Force / Sarah's Voice. Instead, Instead, this power couple, Adams and Brooks, quietly pursue their own special interests to my children's detriment and at my expense, hurting not only me and my children, but all New Yorkers and Americans. Thanks again for listening, and thanks for your continued support. Please continue to pray for me and my children. Thank you.